A lot of throwback sounding 80s records, from the Blurred Line record to even the new Jennifer Hudson song, and a lot of Pharrell stuff, a lot of Daft Punk. So there is an attention drawn back to music. I don't think those people have stopped. I don't think Pharrell took a break and stopped doing that type of music. It was just the right time and place. That's what he was on. Daft Punk at the time was working on an album, and they were on the same thing, and they were just like, well, why don't you come in and do the album with us? And that's how that magic happened. So I feel like everything is cyclical. So to a degree, yes, it does, and it has come back. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be forever that way, because everything in music is a cycle. When rock was really popular, rap wasn't as popular. Now rap is the new rock, and rock is like a ghost. You know what I mean? So everything has its moments and has its time. But I'm glad that there are a lot of artists that are out there that are putting forth great music and not worried about particularly numbers. And the thing that makes them able to do that is because the internet, because they're independent. They don't have to seek counsel from a label, per se, a major label. They are their label. People like Fantasia, she has an incredible album. I was listening to that album today. I really, really love Fantasia's new album. People like Lettucey, they're making Jennifer Hudson, they're making Kelly Rowland, they're making great sounding music, and it's current. People like Miguel, he's making great sounding music, and it's unique, it's different, but it's still new age R&B, great melody, great top line, great metaphor, great artistry, and the music itself, the song takes you on a journey, and that's what we should be aiming for as songwriters, as artists, to take our fans on a journey every time they listen to our work.
All right, so Sherelle is saying ASCAP or BMI.
Both are great companies. Whichever one you're closest to. I'm a CSAC writer, by the way, so I'm going to always champion CSAC. I have friends that are both affiliates and executives at ASCAP and BMI, respectively. They're very good companies. Both of them are very good companies. It's about whichever one you're closest to at the end of the day. If you have great relationships at one, go with that one. You know what I'm saying? If that's where you can get your answers and get somebody on the phone, go with that one.
All right, Kai says, when starting out, you wanna make a good first impression and aren't quite certain where you are in terms of being ready. At what level do you expect aspiring creatives to step up in the room with the pros?
So repeat that question again.
Basically, what she's saying is like, all right, obviously when you start out, some people who are starting out like at what level, should someone expect to step up into the area with the pros? Can I jump in on that for a second?
Go ahead.
My producer Rick Rude, Rick and I met, we were 19, and his first placement was on Busta Rhymes. So, some people unfortunately just have it. I mean, I remember at the time I was writing songs and producing and stuff as well, and I was kind of in the position of the starting out, trying to learn, whereas he was the same age as I was, and he was incredible. I mean, he was in high school doing music for television shows. Back then it was the WB network, so I mean, I guess in my opinion, is just where you are creatively and who you come in contact with, because I might hear something and say, I don't like that, that sounds amateur. But then Kendrick might hear something, he has a whole nother vision and he can take it to another place. So that starting out, like, don't think that just because you're starting that, you're just automatically dropped to the bottom of the barrel. I mean, in my opinion, it just all has to do with the quality of what you what you're writing or producing, as well as who you connect with in order to make it happen in the business.
Yeah, I mean, what I got from the question, it's like at what point do you feel like you've either need to step it up or you feel like you're there? I mean, at the end of the day, we're all growing. Like I don't ever feel like I'm there. I'm always learning because the creative landscape is constantly changing. So I don't feel like, okay, well, I got it. I got all the answers. I'm always studying and I'm always pushing myself harder. So if you're starting out, your work ethic should never change. You should always be, beating on your craft, even when you make it, even when you become successful. How do you know you're there? That's another question. But how do you know you're there is by feedback, really honest feedback. Of course, by hopefully in your case and everybody's case here, they'll be at a place where someone that really can be an influence in their career hears them and likes what they do. But if not that person yet, then the people that are around you, other musicians. That's why it's important to keep people that are much more skilled than you are around you, because they'll tell you if you're there yet. They'll be like, man, I'm learning from you. Nah, man, you got that. They'll give you those little things. You know what I'm saying? When you're around people that are incredible musicians, producers, songwriters, artists, etc. That's what you got to do. Surround yourself with even greater, and then you'll understand your greatness even better.
All right, so I skipped a question earlier on purpose because it kind of had to do with the fact that we're looking for an intern. But since we already touched on that, CJ had a question. He said, what is the best way to get a studio internship and get more studio experience with a professional producer?
Go to the studio. Take your resume. Go to Doppler if you're in Atlanta. Go to I don't know if the Hit Factory is still up in Miami. Go to Chalice in LA. Go to the studio, whichever studio is still open in New York.
Larrabee in LA.
Yeah, just go to the studio, take your resume, knock on the door, ask for the studio manager, meet the guy, and say, hey, look, my name is XYZ. Here is my resume. I don't know if you're hiring interns, but I would be honored to be an intern here for free, even if it's just 1 day a week, even if it's to clean the kitchen or clean the bathrooms. All you need is an hour in that building 1 day a week, because you're going to run into somebody. You got to go out. That's the best way to really do it, and be in the action. Be in the action. Nothing. The business doesn't move per se in the creative room in the studio, but it moves when you engage out and go to where these execs have to come in. You know what I'm saying? They got to come in the doors in the studio. The artists have to come in the doors in the studio. The producers obviously have to live in the studio. But beyond just building relationships with a producer, being in the studio, you're going to see other writers, other producers, executives, A&Rs, etc. Cater an event, volunteer at an event. If CSAC, ASCAP, BMI is hosting an event, at a venue, go to a rep at CSAC, ASCAP, or BMI, say, look, I would like to volunteer my time. You know what I'm saying? And then there you put yourself in the environment, you put yourself in the atmosphere of other people that are of higher level than you, that you admire, and next thing you know, hey, look, here's my business card. It has a barcode on, a scannable barcode. My name is such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? And give them the quick skinny, and then they scan that barcode, they listen to your stuff, and be like, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I would love to sit with you. Do you have a card on you? And if they say, no, I don't, I say, okay, cool. Well, I'd love to sit with you. But maybe I can have an email address. People are funny about their personal number or your assistant's number. Maybe ask them for that first. That eases people up a little bit. When you say, let me get your assistant's number or email address, because they feel like you respect their time. Okay, well, here's my assistant's number.
But and two, let me touch on this. The assistant is the guy you want to know, because when you forge that relationship, one day that assistant who's already in the building is likely to be the head honcho. Forge those relationships early on in the game. Connect with the assistants, connect with interns and stuff like that. Don't necessarily try to go to the man at the top at the beginning. They don't always have time. Forge those relationships with the assistants.
Okay, we have I'm going off the beaten path because I want to talk a little bit about, before we go to the next question, about sync, music for TV, video games, etc., films, stuff like that. A lot of those placements, not all of them, but a lot of those placements happen through your publisher. The reason why is because the publishing company has a big department dedicated to sync, film, TV, video games, etc. And you can go and explore those avenues that way. Secondly, if you don't have a publishing company, there are studios that specialize in that. There's a studio here in Atlanta called Soundbite that specializes in music for commercials, music for TNT, music for Lifetime, you know what I'm saying, little blurb here and there, music for movies. They specialize in that. Go to that studio, make an appointment, call, say, hey, I would like to make an appointment to intern, or I'd like to make an appointment to see the head A&R. Sit with them and play them your music, you know what I'm saying, particularly someone that has a business that they do, and that's how they make their money. And of course, they would accept great talent that does that. So that's one way to get it heard. If you can't get it through a publisher, if you don't have a publishing deal, find a studio that does that. Doppler is a studio in town that's known. A lot of you guys seen the TLC documentary. They did just about all of their songs in Doppler. Doppler is a studio that I first worked at when I moved here, between Doppler and Stankonia. But Doppler is a real popular studio. They also have voiceover in Doppler. Very big on voiceover in the daytime. So go there. You know, that's how you can get familiar with that type of stuff. And then also shoot your own short film or partner up with someone that does a short film or does video games independently and do the music for it.